Sleepwalker Radio, and I'm here with Jewelssea.
Hello.
uh, how's it going? How are you doing?
I'm doing good today. It's not too cold, but I'm inside.
Facts, facts. Yeah, I feel like it had been cold as shit because I'm in Philly, and I feel like you're in Philly too, right? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's cold as shit, and but it just randomly got kind of warm the last like couple days, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah, I'm digging that. Like I'm not ready for like whatever cold front is coming up, so I'm just gonna
Right,
like
right.
enjoy this while I can.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I kind of already alluded to it, but where are you from?
I'm from Philly. I'm from South Philly. Grew
Hmm.
up there, born and raised.
Facts.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in South Philly?
It's all right. It's
Mm,
like it's Philly. Like I don't know. I'm like 23 now, so it's like I've been here my whole life.
got you.
Yeah, and like, some things are really the same and some things have changed, but it's like it's cool. It's nothing like special, I guess. But I
Um,
wouldn't, Philly special. I don't think I'd want to be from anywhere else, so I'm
Facts,
happy
facts.
with
And
it.
I just moved over to Philly like a couple years ago, and I really fuck with it here. It's cool.
Good, I'm
I'm from
happy.
DC. It reminds me of like a bigger DC in like
Yeah,
2014, 2015,
I could see
like
that.
the positive ways
Hmm.
that you could look at it. It's like just like before it got like really, really fucked up by the gentrification, even though it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Philly's even affected by it, but there's still more like realness here. Like it's like a lot of that remains untouched, which is
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, do you go to like North Philly often? I feel like there's like a South Philly, North Philly. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say a divide, but they're like that. They're like separate, like very separate areas.
For sure, there's yeah, like I mean, I didn't really start like hanging out in North Philly until I went to Temple because like I don't know, even like my dad's side of the family like lives in North Philly, but I'm just not like when growing up I didn't like go up to like there too much. But like yeah, I don't know. It's just Philly's all divided and like separate in like, their own ways. But yeah, no, I mean now I'm in like the Fishtown area now, but I was in North Philly a lot like when I was at Temple. So
Got you, got you, got you. Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm in North Philly right now. I don't really go to South Philly that often. Just
yeah.
how it goes.
It's
Um,
all good. Yeah, even like I don't know. I don't even like my parents are still in South Philly and I don't even like go down there as often as I could. It's just like
mhm,
out of the way sometimes.
facts.
Yeah. Even though it's really not that far at
No,
all.
it's close as shit. It's so
It's
close.
really close, but just like it's not public transportation is not that fast and like I don't drive, so it's like
Yeah, same.
it's a lot for me. It's a journey.
Um, so when did you start like making music? Because I feel like I got hip to you as being just like a DJ at different events throughout Philly, but you were originally or you came into the game as a producer, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I was a producer before I was a DJ.
Yeah,
Um, that kind of just like, and the DJ thing got bigger than the producer thing. So I was like, all right, well,
that makes
I'm,
sense.
but I'm still a producer at heart. That's what like makes the music happen.
Like shit.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I don't know, like producing music, like electronic music, I didn't really start to like consistently do until like 2017, 2016.
Mhm.
But I've been making music my whole life. Like,
Where-
yeah, pretty much.
You play like any instruments growing up?
Yeah, I played the guitar. That was like my first instrument. And then I went to like a music public school in South Philly. Um, we did like choir stuff and I was like playing the oboe and piano and like
Really?
in concert band and all those music tech classes, music theory, like so I like grew up on that and like that was like in middle school. So I just
Gotcha.
kind of like carried through my life.
Were you like any in any bands or anything like that?
Yeah, I was in like concert bands. I wasn't in like a band, like like a
Yeah,
band with like friends or anything. But like when I was in high school, I had because I went to a different high school, but it was like still I was like surrounded by like artists and kind of stuff like that, and I had friends that were in bands, and I was like wanting to get back into like making music, like and, like beats and stuff. So I just kind of started that out on my own.
got you.
Yeah.
And it was electronic music that you were first starting to make when you got into like beat making.
Um, so it was more like I was in like a DigVid program in high school, so I was like doing like sound stuff, and I wanted to start making like soundtracks and like scores for like the short films we were doing. So I kind of got into making music as like music for films, and then I got into it as like beats, like boom bap, like lo-fi kind of like
Where
beats. Like that's like where I like really started doing that.
got you.
Yeah, the electronic music stuff like came more like I guess recently, in like the past couple of years.
Got you. That's a cool way to get into it, making music like for films type shit.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
it's like all because it's like atmosphere stuff. You like it's all about like textures and putting people into like a space.
Facts.
Yeah.
Um, what was like the first like track that you put out?
Oh man. It was something on SoundCloud, like uh I don't even know. It was something. It's like I don't because I had like a EP that I put out, but I don't think it's up anymore.
Is it
Um,
Transcend with JJared?
it's not that one was like the first like thing I put out like after that with Jared. But no, I had something I like had on Bandcamp and for a while, but I like that was like in high school, like it was like the first thing I like really put out. Um, but I took it down because it like I don't know, it didn't like sound really good to me. But it
That's
was
fair.
like yeah, it was called Dreams. It was like a little like 5-track EP. It was like testing out like using music production software like before I really like understood it
Got you.
fully. So, but that was like the first like real release I had, I guess.
And that was like 2017.
Yeah, that was like 2017.
Got you. Um, well, I'm about to share my screen, but I mentioned the Transcend EP that
Yes.
you put out. So would you say that's like the well, how did this come about? Because this was like the first project that I kind of saw when I was doing research on you. That like pop.
Yeah. So like this project, like this is like when I really like started to like learn how to use Ableton, and like I was like always like hanging with my friend Jared, and like we like really like worked together on this, and like he was just like because I was using like Logic before.
Where
So I would like link with my friend Jared and my friend James and Ben and like Vic, and we would all like just mess around in Ableton, like in
mhm,
like Upper Darby, like they like lived out there.
that's you.
So yeah, we like made this together. It was just like kind of like we were like collabing a lot on beats, and it was like really like helping me like learn like how to like make beats properly. So I was like, like we should like make a little project together. Like we're like getting into this like weird sound, so let's like play around with that more.
Facts.
And we kind of just did this. Yeah. I miss those days. That was fun. It was like very like lighthearted and like just like I feel like that was a time in my life when I was like, oh, like I can like hang out with friends and making music, and it's like that was like almost like being in a band for me, like just like little jam sessions like on Ableton, like
No,
so
that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds pretty nice. Like I listened through it. It was good instrumentation,
Yeah.
instrumentals.
Yeah.
Do you still use Ableton?
Yeah, yeah, that's my
So,
dog.
that seems to be the go-to. Like,
Yeah,
mm,
people all have their opinions, but Ableton works for me.
or like that's where people like end up on Ableton, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
how
it seems
different.
like the final boss. It's
Yeah,
like, I
exactly.
guess I'll try this out now, you know, and it works.
Facts.
Which,
And then another thing when I was just doing research on you that I saw came up was that you had a production placement on the Women of the World Volume 2. And it was like an international like release, right?
yeah, yeah,
Uh
this was special.
yeah, how'd that come about?
Man, I would think I was at this point. It's funny because there's like a lot of DJs on here now that like, or like a lot of producers on here that EP that are like, like popping DJs now, and it like makes me really happy because it's like, damn, like we all like came up like doing this stuff. But it was kind of like I think I was just like doing because I was like very in like the lo-fi community or whatever, and like
Right.
that was kind of like the spot to be like there was like a lot of support in that like area of like beats and stuff. And there's these organizations, I think it's like Beats by Girls and like She Is the Music, and they all like will like throw things out there like, hey, you should apply to this release or apply to this like whatever. And Sadiva was like one of the like producers from the like that time that I was like listening to like through YouTube and everything. And I was like, like I should like submit to this, I'm
Yeah.
like these people, like why not like submit a track to it? And they and InterOcean Records is like a huge like lo-fi label like back
Gotcha.
in like, it's still huge, but like it was like the thing like, in 2016, like I would be on YouTube and I would always see like people like put out releases on there and be like, oh, this is sick. Like this is like a nice community to be a part of.
Facts.
So, um, and they just like worked with Sadiva to do like Women of the World. It's like you know, it's just like a collection of like songs from women producers. So that was like a nice moment for me. Like I think it was like, like one of like the top like hip hop albums on like Bandcamp for like 1 week, and I was like, oh, this is
Oh
sick.
shit.
Like,
Yeah, man.
that's pretty cool.
And was that like your first placement on like a beat tape type of deal?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This was like my first instance
Like
of that.
great way to start.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
for sure. Like I've been like connected to like a lot of those girls like since then, and like it's like so cool to like see everyone's progress and like see what everyone's up to, and it's like it's nice. Like everybody like kind of took their like different routes, but like some of us are like in this like same we're still like in the same like we just like took like the same path, I guess, like into like this like electronic world, I guess, of stuff,
it's tough.
dance music and whatnot. So it's pretty cool.
So when did you start DJing? Because it seems like you were really like going down the producer line for a minute.
Yeah. I started DJing like 2018, 2019. It started more of like I was like just wanted to play like my beats live, so I got an SP and like I
Uh,
would like I got it's still right here next to
oh
me.
shit.
But,
Easy.
yeah, like I went on Craigslist, I got an SP, and then I started to like I was like, man, my all my friends are in bands and they're playing house shows. Like I want to do that too. So I started like playing like basement shows and like just like asking like like, ask my friends like, hey, like I would play like we should like throw a show together, and like just like that just wound up happening. Um and then, I was like in college, so people were like, oh, you should like DJ my Halloween party or something like that. So that started to happen more. And then like I was like mostly just like DJing my beats. And then I was like also working with my friend Huey, like, and we were like making music together for a while. And he's a rapper and producer. So I was like basically his DJ too. Like I would just like
Word.
play his tracks for him live, and like he would rap, and like sometimes we do little ciphers, and like I'd bring the SP out and like make like beats live, and like
That's
people
true.
like in the basement would just like all like surf together.
That's
And
tough.
dude, that was really tough. That was like a good like those again like wholesome moments, like really
Mhm.
wholesome moments. Um, so that was going on for a while, and then like, yeah, then I was like, I got into this thing. I was like, damn, like I want to like play like I want to like make dance like dance music. I want to make people dance, and then I got like attached to this idea of like going to like study in Berlin for like a few months. So then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Berlin like fall 2019.
Gotcha.
And before I did that, me and my friend Vic, like Vic was like wanting to like throw raves. She was like, I want to start like throwing raves. And I was
All
like,
right.
let's do it. And like she linked with my friend Keenan, who's like also like instrumental to like the like scene, I guess, in
Mhm.
Philly. But Vic and Keenan and then their friend Mo, like they all got together and were like, okay, like let's start like this rave series. And it was called Alt+Escape. And
Word.
Alt+Escape was like the start of like the younger generation. Like it was like where like all these like baby ravers now like came up out of like
Yeah, that's
in
cool.
like August 2019 was like the first party like right because I left for Berlin like September
Mhm.
2019. So I played that party in like August and we were like we had no idea who was gonna show up or like we were just like going out to like Rittenhouse and like telling people like, hey, you should pull up to this rave we're throwing.
Word.
And people weren't like throwing raves like in our like scene. It was just like, the house shows or like,
Mhm.
there were raves, but it was like older people, like just
Gotcha.
people that were like a little bit like out of our age range.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we would like be going to those kind of parties and like, oh, this is sick, but like let's do it like for our like people.
Mhm.
So, we just it happened and it was like a hit. It was crazy. Like so many people came out. Like and that was like the first time I like actually like DJ'd like music that like wasn't my own stuff or like dance music. Like I
Mhm.
would like I had like a few songs that I like mixed in that were like my tracks, like 'cause I had like some dancey tracks.
Yeah.
But I was like that was the first time I like really like curated a set like to be something like different. So
Word.
that was like the first time I really like got into it.
And then when you went out to Berlin, you just like doubled down on that type of like sound and
Yeah, exactly. I was going out there. I was like going to all like the techno clubs and like just like seeing what was out there. And it was like very like intriguing to me. And I wound up playing out there because I played some like I was like working with this blog, so I like played like a release party for something and then I had a friend who was like living out in Leipzig, which is like 2 hours out from Berlin.
Mhm.
But she was a bit older than me and she was like throwing like art events and like parties and stuff. So I wound up like DJing a party out there and
Got
it
you.
was like that was pretty cool because I got to like just play music in like another country, like like people that are like totally out of my like scope of people.
And was it like dance music or was it like rap music? I'm just trying to think of like if German people listen to like rap music and stuff.
It's interesting because it was interesting because like they do, but it's not like they were into it. It was like more remixes of like R&B stuff and like
Okay,
rap
word.
songs. And yeah, just like a lot of different like remixes of stuff, like house edits.
Word.
And they were
Word.
into it. They were like, I've never heard this stuff out here before. Like I never like this is like different. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. You
Yeah.
know?
So
So that was like a cool moment. And now I feel like it's probably bigger out there at this point because, that I mean, the COVID and all that stuff happened, but people are out again. They're out in the clubs. It's like,
sure.
yeah.
So when you got back from Berlin, do you feel like that's when you really like pursued being a DJ? Or like when do you feel like you kind of went all in?
I mean, yeah, after I got back, like Alt Escape was still going. There was like I played there was four total like Alt Escapes that happened and they were all like just like huge parties like
Yeah.
over like 500 people, just like people just coming out to warehouses like to party.
Hmm.
Um, and I played like the third and the fourth one. The fourth one was in February on like Leap Day. And then right after that is when like COVID happened and like lockdown. And the like that last one was like like probably like the biggest one. And it was like, the energy was just different. Like it felt great. Like
Mhm.
things like it felt like things were like going to get crazy that summer. But then
Then
I didn't
COVID.
DJ for like a year. Like I didn't even pick up my controller for like a year. So
Of
I
course.
was like and that's when I got more into like producing again.
Where
Um yeah, yeah, that gave me more time to get back into it and like really like, get yeah, just mess around and like be weird with music. But I think like after that, like like last summer, like summer 2021, not this past summer, but the one before
yeah.
that. That was like when I was like, okay, like I'm a DJ now, I guess. Like it
Where
was just like rave, like after rave after rave. And then like I yeah, I was like on and off working a little bit, and then like I've been like a full-time DJ like since like May, I guess now.
okay, where
So, yeah, like I was like honestly like I DJ'd most of like last like 2021 like as like
yeah.
full time, but like not I was still like working here and there, but like I've been like more able to like focus on DJing now. So it's been
That's
pretty.
tough. So you're just full like just fully DJing now.
Yeah, I've been able to do it this way since like May.
Yeah.
Um
So
yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm probably gonna like get a job again just because I want more money.
of
Like
course.
it's not like, it's not very lucrative. Like I can't like save money, but I can like make ends meet, which is nice.
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the goal for a lot of people, just to even
Yeah.
reach that
Just
point.
to like yeah, just to
Mm.
make ends meet doing what you love. Like
But yeah, just I want to go through a couple just cool like events you DJ'd recently. I guess in the last few months for real. One was the Adult Swim Festival.
yes.
How did that come about?
That man. So back in 20 what was it, 2018, I guess. Like this is before I started like really DJing.
Mhm.
Um, I went to like Tierra Wax like last like intimate show at the Rotunda in West Philly.
Mhm.
That was like before it was like right after I think Whack World released, and like it was
Gotcha.
like so that show like sold out pretty quickly, but that
Push.
venue is like a small spot. Like I used to do like poetry readings there when I was like in
Word.
high school.
Okay.
Um, but I met her manager Johnny there, and I was like, "Yo, like I'm a producer." Like I had known like some people that like had produced for her at that time, so I was like, "Yeah, like I know this person, blah blah blah." And he was like, "Oh, like put your info in my phone, like I'll keep in touch with you." And then like her manager is kind of like an A&R too, so he's like
Yeah.
is always like watching like what's going on in the scene.
Right.
He just kind of like was like watching me like through like Instagram through
Mhm.
like since then like and saw like he would like came to like the last Alt+Escape. He was like the
Oh, word.
mentor but really for like my friend Vic. Like she would like go to him like asking like for guidance like on like music scene and like giving like
Word.
shows and stuff.
Mhm.
And he was like always like really like helpful or like willing to like offer like any type of like wisdom that he could. So
Sounds like a solid dude.
no, it was pretty cool. And then he just like literally like the week before they were gonna announce this, I ran into him at the spot I DJ all the time, like at Elemento, and he
Mhm.
was like, "Hey, like, I want you on a show with Wax soon. Like, gonna have like my people reach out to you." And then like I didn't really know what the show was. I just knew it was gonna be a show with Wax.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Yeah, like, they like made me send like a press kit and all this stuff." Like, so I was like, I didn't really know what I was in for. And then all of a sudden, like they announced it and it was like Adult Swim Festival, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
this is what I'm
crazy.
playing. Like I had no idea.
No, that's lit.
Yeah.
That's
It was
super.
pretty crazy. I didn't so it all worked out like
Mhm.
very organically. It was very nice.
And then another. show you did was Making Time slash the Lot Radio.
Yeah.
And they had like a I'm like hip to the Lot Radio because I know it as like a show that different DJs will go on. And I feel like it's a pretty big deal, especially nowadays over the because they've like grew a pretty good amount over the years. To be featured on just anything they do. So they did like a music festival,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
So Making Time is like it's like the one of like the biggest like electronic like, music like parties, I guess, in Philadelphia. Um, like that's like really like where like the like the center of like the scene. Um, and they do parties like, every month or every other month, something like that. But they have like their festival like once a year.
Right.
And recently, like the last couple of years, they were doing it at Fort Mifflin. And yeah, they asked me to play the Lot Radio stage set there. And it was like the only one that was like live streamed because that's what the Lot Radio does. So it was pretty sick. Like I was like up on this hill, and they had like, it's Fort Mifflin is like right next to like the airport. Like you can see planes like landing and like coming up. Like they were coming like they were behind me and they were like in front of me. Like everywhere you looked, it was like planes. It was crazy.
So,
It was crazy.
nice.
That was so much fun.
Thanks. Um, and then another shows that you've done was the Shrek Rave,
Yes.
which is kind of crazy. And you also did Bikini Bottom Rave too out in San
Yep.
Francisco.
Yep.
How was that?
These like themed parties are so much fun. Like
Really?
they're so much fun. It's because like I think I just love like being able to like curate a set like with like some like just being silly in mind. Like I grew up on SpongeBob. Like I was an avid Shrek watcher. Like
I've seen all of them. I had the video game Shrek 2.
oh, that's fire. That's fire. Like yeah, this is like just stuff that's like part of like, this is what I grew up on. So it's like funny to like, be at a party with like grown adults like of like drinking age, like just like going really hard for Shrek and SpongeBob.
No, that's
Like
funny shit.
it's perfect. It's perfect.
Would you
Like
say those were like the silliest shows that you've done so far?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, very lighthearted, very yeah, very much so. Very much so. I get down with that.
Um, and then something else, are you into like 3D like imagery developing and making and designing and stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of like what I went to school for. That's
I
like,
I
yeah,
found this video that you put out for your
yeah,
like your college thesis. I'm just gonna play it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, this is cool. And I've noticed you've made other like visualizations for like just other things you've done.
hmm
How long have you been into that?
Um, I mean, it's something that I got into like being in school because I was going to school for like media arts and I didn't want to go like the classic like film like route with like, director, producer, that kind of
Yep.
stuff. Like I wanted to like get more into like digital art and like experimental projects of like the sort. So I kind of was like I started taking like animation classes and like 3D design classes. And it was just like it was fun for me. Like it's pretty tedious and like time
Seems
consuming.
like it, yeah.
Like really time consuming. So it's like something that's kind of hard to like just like pick up again.
Right.
But it was like a good I don't know. It's a good way for me to like express myself or like, I like making digital art. Like it's like, it's something that I want to like get into again eventually,
For
like
sure.
if I have more time.
Yeah, yeah. Once I feel like when you're a little less busy, it feels like it seems like you're really busy right now. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's something I realize like I'm just gonna keep getting busier. So
mhm.
it's like, it's whatever. I just have to like figure out how to manage my time better. But it's yeah, that was really that was cool to do and like learn. Like I would like to do that more like for fun, just like make more
Gotcha.
visualizations of stuff.
Yeah, no. Some more like producer questions. Oh yeah, you put out a project in 2020, I believe, called It's All Love. And this is like I think like the largest just piece of work you've put out, like production wise or just musically wise, other
Yeah.
than the mixes. What went into this?
So this was like my COVID project. Like this is like when I like started to like lock down and like I had a lot of these songs already as like, almost finished or like projects that I was like working on. Some of them I had like released on like SoundCloud already. So I was like, okay, like I guess I'll just like try to make a continuous album, like something that like flows together.
Mhm.
And I was like doing like a lot of sample based stuff. So I was like just getting into that. Like
Facts. Yeah, yeah.
figuring out like a sound that I wanted to go with. And like at this point, like my sound was like kind of changing already. Like
Mhm.
I was getting more into like house music at this moment. So I was like, okay, like this is more like the kind of like lo-fi, like boom bap kind of beats I was like doing. Like
Yeah,
I started out with, and I just like hadn't like put it out. So I was like ready just to like release it and like get it out.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So that was that for me. Just like kind of a really literally like a release of like, okay, like here is everything that I had.
Yeah,
Um, let me just like put it out for people to enjoy now. So
got you. And are you still like making music now, or are you just kind of fully focused on DJing?
no, I am making music now. Like I'm doing a lot of different things. Yeah, I am making like a lot more like house music, drum and bass, like
Right.
that sort of thing.
Mm.
I started like singing too and like recording myself and just like experimenting with that and like I'm getting like ready for like a release of stuff. Like
Okay.
I want like to like start like rolling out singles and like we're just like posting on SoundCloud, like getting like my like current sound out there for people
Mm.
to like understand more.
For sure.
And then like, just moving off of that because I feel like I have like, I have people that are like going out to like my parties. I have like fans like this now,
Yeah,
so
yeah, definitely.
I want to show like what I've been working on. Sometimes it's just like I'll hold on to things for longer than I should.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
everybody does that. So
Exactly. Any idea when you think like the new music will come out?
honestly, I'm like I was kind of looking to just like drop something on SoundCloud this week. Like,
Oh, weird.
yeah, so I might still do that. Like, if not
Okay.
this week, like maybe like next week or in the coming weeks. I just want like I have some things that I'm like, oh, like this sounds like how I want it to sound. So I think I'll just put it out on SoundCloud at least. And then like as far as like proper releases, like I want to get like a single rollout going like in the next couple months. So I'm
Word.
like I'm ready for that. I have like songs that are like at that point now that like just maybe need like a few like minor tweaks, like
Mm.
mixing, mastering stuff, but it's time. It's time.
Um, so it sounds like you're more focused on like the electronic side of production, but I just wanted to touch on some like hip hop placements that you've gotten that were cool. So you produced like two tracks or co-produced two tracks off of Jawstar EP they released, I think at like the beginning of this year or something like that.
Yeah, back in last December.
Yeah, how that like connection come about?
So I mean, I'm still connected to like the like hip hop scene for sure. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's like still like a big part of like, my what makes my sound, I guess.
for sure. I would
Um,
agree with that too.
yeah. So it's like, um, I how did I get connected? I think I got connected to Jawstar just through that because I like work with Benny, like he's like he was like basically like my mentor also because he's like grew up
Right.
with Jared, like him and Jared are like brothers, like not really, but and then like him and my friend James are actually brothers, so it's like
Okay,
we all
word.
like work together, like we were all like making music together. And Jawstar kind of found me through that, and like obviously like he was interested in my sound because like he does like very experimental like rap, and like he's
Yeah,
very into like the rave scene and like
for sure.
that electronic scene. So I like my sound like works for him, I feel like.
He has a lot of crossover, like
Yeah.
for sure.
So that's like cool to me. I like that. Like that's how we got along. And like I started working with his producer Larry, and like we'll like send things to each other back and forth. So I was just like sending loops and stuff, and like I sent like loops to Benny, I sent loops to Larry, and like we were just like, okay, like let's like I'll like send these beats back to Jawstar, and like he was like, yeah, I'm gonna like record on this, and like I met Jawstar like in the studio at like Obi that sometime last year, and then I like sent him one of the beats I made with Benny, and he's like just like started to like lay something down on there, and I was like, oh, this is sick, like this is gonna sound good, and then it just wound up working out like that.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Shout out Larry, the producer. He makes really cool beats.
Yes, he does. Shout out Larry. I have some tracks I need to get back to him.
And then another placement you got was on Robb Bank's tape or
Yeah,
project,
yeah.
co-produced with Facts Only. How'd you meet, or how'd you meet Facts Only? Also, just through Benny.
So yeah, so Benny's been working on dying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then there was a producer camp last year, like a working on dying producer camp in Jersey. And I was like connected with a bunch of people that were like running that studio. Um, so they were like, oh, you're like you can come here, like, and there's gonna be like the working on dying camp, and I didn't even realize that Benny and James were gonna be there, and I was like, oh, like this is cool, like I have like like friends, it's like family here that I can like work with, and then we were all like hanging outside. It was pretty cold. They had the fire going.
It looks kind of chilly.
It
Everyone's like
was pretty it was pretty damn cold. And that was in November. Yeah, that was in November.
Facts.
And it was really cool. Like I got to meet like all these like producers that I didn't like, I had like seen like sort of like on the internet, but I hadn't like really like connected with like that. And like I was like the only like woman producer there. So it was also like I don't know. It didn't feel weird, but it was just like, oh, that's like always like the case, it feels like.
Yeah.
So it was cool, like just being around people and like I could just be myself and like make music and I didn't feel like weird or anything. So
Word, yeah.
it was really nice. And like I like, I got to like share music that like, I sometimes it's like hard for me to like work with people if like we don't connect in like a certain like sound or something. So
Makes
I
sense.
feel like my sound was like accepted there and it was nice. So
Word.
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Shout out working on dying.
Shout out working on dying. Good peoples.
um, yeah, no, and also shout out Robb Banks. This is a crazy chain.
That's crazy. Yeah. I had no idea it would like go to somebody like him. I was just
Word, yeah.
like we were just out in the yard and I was like Fax was like wondering what I was working on and I like he's like, oh, send me like your samples and send me like some things and like I sent him some samples and then we started to like chop it up and like he would like threw down the beat on it, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's as of like interviewing more people just throughout the scene, there are like a lot of, I guess, like producer work camps or work or just producer camps where like a bunch of people work on a bunch of beats together and work on just
Yeah,
songs together, and then it gets sent out to a bunch of
yeah,
different people, and like a lot of like rare collabs you wouldn't think of. I think sometimes happens through just
for
like
sure, for sure.
like
It's I think that's just like the greatest way to do it because it's like you're just jamming with your friends, like you're just like making music for the sake of making it. Like you don't care who like gets it. Someone will see it. Someone's gonna like listen to it at some point. Like
that's how
you
the
know,
best shit gets
yeah,
made.
exactly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have never known, but I knew the beats were crazy. I was just like, I like this. It sounds crazy, so somebody's gonna want to do something with this. So that's cool.
um Back to some DJing questions. What program do you use for your DJing?
Um, when I am like bringing my controller out, I'll use Serato, but like I've been using like CDJs and like XDJs more, so I like I use like Record Box.
Word.
So yeah, it's like I'll just pull up with my USB and like plug in and all those like the CDJs like they recognize Record Box. They don't really recognize Serato, so I have to like just run all my tracks through Record Box and like have them analyzed through there on my USB. So it's like
Okay.
I do now.
Yeah, I feel like Record Box and Serato are like pretty similar, right?
Yeah, they're pretty similar. I mean, all yeah, all DJ
Yeah,
software is kind of similar. Yeah,
yeah, have to do the same thing. So,
yeah, exactly.
um, and then this is just like something I was curious about just with DJs specifically. When you're like doing live sets, do you like pre-record like the mashups and different things, or is it all live?
I mean, it depends. Like some remixes or mashups, like I'll like download like
Mhm.
or like have like already like done myself. But I like the mixing between the songs is all live. Like I don't like re-record like a transition or
Transitions,
anything.
yeah.
Um, I could like there's some that like honestly like it might be easier if I like pre-record it, but I'll always just like try to do it live and like do that sort of thing. But like yeah, any like usually like mixes like I'll just like transition live.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, what's the longest set you've ever played?
Uh, probably like 6 hours.
Fuck.
I play, it was the 6 hours. It was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. No, I think it was like 5 hours.
Damn, that's still a really long time.
Yeah, it was like last New Year's. Yeah, yeah.
Take any breaks at all, or was it just like you just
Oh no, I was able to take some breaks. It was like, yeah, I was like DJing at this like at the bar I used to work at actually.
Mm.
So I like, I took some breaks. I there are moments when I like I was like, okay, I'm gonna like go outside and smoke, and I just like put like a playlist on because
Right,
it's like it's
okay.
not the same kind of thing as like
Yeah,
DJing like a part like a
yeah,
you know
DJing like a
concert.
bar is, yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. Mm.
It was like a different style of music than I usually play too, so I didn't really feel so bad about it.
Yeah, 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 I got you.
Yeah.
Um, who are like some people that you've gotten like on the same bill as that like you just never expect, or like, oh shit, this is crazy. Like
Um,
mm, the same.
I mean, definitely like Tierra Whack. Like I wouldn't expect that ever really, or like, damn, who else? No, I DJ with some like really cool people that like it's like, whoa, I didn't think I'd ever like be able to like do that with them. Or like I DJ'd for like Zack Fox, like the last like working on dying thing. And
Oh,
like
weird. Shout
yeah,
out
it no,
Zach.
yeah, we're tight now. It's like I'm actually like I was supposed to announce it today. I'm like DJing for Tisakorean on Friday at Urban
Oh
Plaza.
shit.
So
Hey.
I need to make that announcement, I think.
I was literally gonna ask you later in this interview like how'd you meet up with Tisakorean, because I saw he like posted on his IG just like a pic of y'all together type shit.
That's random. Like I went to his like free show he
Yeah.
did in New York over the summer.
Mm,
And I was like walking with my friend Annabelle because we were like meeting up with my friends like Vic and Jess. Like they had just like pulled up to the park.
mm.
And like at the same time that we were like running into them, like at the park entrance, like Tisakorean was like doing like a kickflip or something on a skateboard. And we were like, oh hey. And then we all were just like talking for a while. And Vic's like a photographer, so she's like, oh, like let me get like your picture. And then he was like, yeah, do you guys want pictures? And I was like, yeah, let's like take a picture together. And then we like wound up taking a picture together. And he's like, follow me, follow yourself on Instagram. Like I'll keep in touch. And then like he's like kind of like been in touch with me through there. And then like we like ran into each other again at like a party he played at in New York like a few months ago. And he
Word.
remembered me and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like but
Hey,
yeah, like
that's lit.
that kind of put me in touch for this gig. So that's nice.
You know, shout out Zach. I booked him to do a stand-up set at my
Hell
school.
yeah.
He did like it was for Black History Month, like 2 or 3 weeks before the pandemic happened. It was funny.
Yo,
It was really hilarious.
that's crazy. Yeah, he's hilarious. That's really funny.
Yeah, he's great what he does. Um, that's cool. Oh yeah, another someone who I've just seen you've been either they've been involved in shows that you've put together or you've just been featured on the same lineup as them is Dazegxd. How did y'all connect?
That's like internet, like Twitter, like honestly,
Gotcha.
like I
That's how it
I was
goes.
actually like so I got hip to like Eldia because I think honestly one of my friends like sent me like this one album was like Optic Core and like some other like it was like some compilation of like crazy tracks. And like I was like, oh, this is so sick. Or like I started to play them at raves like last summer before I really knew who like Dazegxd was. And then I like he started like popping up in my algorithm of stuff. And it's like, oh, like his songs are sick. And like start listening to like Dirty Bird because my friend put me onto him. And I didn't realize like they were all like connected. And
Word.
then like I like started to like see like their tweets come up on my timeline. I was like, oh, like these are like they're
Gotcha.
around. Like these are people that are around. So yeah, we started to do stuff together, and like I had like Teth and Cooley were hip to him too. So it was kind of like it made sense. Like we all like make similar kinds of music, and yeah, like I started to
Nice.
go to New York more for shows, and like I would always like be I started to like just get connected to like their world of stuff. So that's been a nice like progression, I think.
No, shout out Dazegxd.
Shout out these guys. Yeah. Good peoples again.
I'll share my screen again. So I think you recently joined non such booking agency and they're based out of Germany, right? Berlin.
Yeah, NoneSuch they've got a like a they just started like their American branch basically, but they like are like based out of Germany, like in Berlin. But Sam, who he's like the Philly liaison, and now like Cameron, who's like frequency, he's like also like another like part of NoneSuch that's like the Philly liaison as well.
Or
They're my like booking agents basically.
okay, cool.
And they do like some like management stuff for me too, but like it's very organic. Like we just like talk about like the direction I want to go with things. And they like, if like they were like a big help in like the Adult Swim stuff when it was like a lot of like paperwork and stuff that like I couldn't handle on my own. Like
No,
they
that's fair.
really like helped me sort that out. And like yeah, they'll just like I can like revert people to them like if I have like booking inquiries, like which is nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's nice that you don't have to like rely on people all the way out in like Germany type shit to like
Yeah, yeah. No, I have like my the Philly people here like that have me. But like the goal is with this like to like have like a transfer of like their Berlin DJs and like the Philly DJs and like have us like do it like a little swap of
mm,
worlds like
yeah,
because
no,
I definitely want to get back out there and play out there. So
yeah, no, exactly.
yeah.
No, it's that's cool. And so they just kind of handle your booking stuff. Like, are you signed to them or anything like that? Just kind of
It's
curious how
pretty
that's working.
simple. It's like they yeah, they just handle like my booking stuff. Like there's not like um I mean it's yeah, like we have like an agreement together, you know. It's like
Gotcha.
it's but it's not like it's not very complicated.
Like a 360.
No, no, no. We just kind of have an agreement together. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I'm signed in a way, but it's not like it's not like
Right. Yeah.
that deep.
And you feel like it's helped you so far since you joined them?
Yeah, honestly, like it's made like, you know, it's made me like feel like I am able to like do this full time. And like I think it is a big reason why I'm able to do this full time because like not only do like people take me a little more seriously, but it's like, you know, I can make sure I have like things covered like my transportation or like think like, you know, they can advocate for me on that end and I don't have to
Yeah.
like feel like I'm like totally like doing this by myself, you know.
That's really nice.
So it is very nice. Like I'm grateful for them for sure. And like just to be able to talk out my creative ideas and like my goals for myself, like with like people that like actually like can help me like get to
Yeah,
that
yeah,
point.
like
Like
shit.
it's very nice. Like it's not like I'm just like talking to like my friends or like my therapist.
Like shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then another cool thing, you have like a residency at the 700 Club, right?
Yeah.
How that how long have you been doing it for also?
Oh wow. I feel like I've been doing that since August. I think yeah, I think it's been since August.
Hmm.
Um like right after my Adult Swim stuff. I think
Gotcha.
that's when I started my residency here. Um no, it's been sick. It's been nice. Like I've been able to like kind of bring like the rave scene like to like a you know like a smaller club and
Yeah.
like a lot of people that like had like you know that don't because I feel like I've like had more like time and experience like being able to like play out in like different like bars and clubs and venues but like
Mhm.
there's still a lot of people in the scene that haven't like been able to do that so just like to be able to like give them those opportunities and like just pass down like you know just have like there be more spaces for like this type of thing to
Yeah.
exist.
Okay.
So it's been pretty cool. Like I'm grateful for it and like
Mhm.
just to like, you know, have a place to like play some like more of like the music I want to play. Like it's nice.
Yeah, do you treat those like sets there as more like experimental and you like work on like different or new shit you want to try out?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I can do that because their crowd is like pretty receptive to like
Mhm.
whatever. They have their like own like crowd of people that's like a little bit older and sometimes they're like you know, sometimes you have to like pander to them, but also like I can kind of just like do whatever. It's no
Yeah.
pressure. That space is like no pressure ever. So it's nice. And it used to be like, you know, there used to be like really crazy parties there, and like I've played like, you know, there was like a Halloween party a few years ago I played, and it was like pretty sick. Um,
So,
but some yeah, you know, like it's a good space to like try things out with, and like, you know, I'd like it to be like that crazy again. And some nights are pretty crazy there, but like it's
yeah.
not like it used to be a time when it was like every weekend, like that was the spot, but that was like before my time.
Got
So
you, got you.
it's just like going through another phase right now, I think.
Yeah. One more thing that I wanted to talk about or touch on is that you recently had a show called L8House, and alongside it, you there were available like comic books that you had made by
Mhm.
the same name. How did that like come together?
So this is like a project I've like been kind of like working on since like last January. Like I had this idea for like, you know, um just this like party that involves like this like futuristic kind of like, you know, comic element to it.
Mhm.
And I started like talking to Keenan about it and like he had this like idea, this like character he was working on that like felt like we could involve in this world and like this kind of was like a nice like art project, I feel like, because like I was like really into like world building and I wanted to like create this like little like world of stuff.
Yeah.
And I started working with my friend Jude and we were like coming up with ideas for like what this world could be like. And he started like sketching out ideas for me and like then I like worked with Nat and he like finished up basically what Jude had started like with the comic and this came to life. And I still have to like I was able to print out like big pictures of it, but I like want to I'm like still working on like printing out like the actual booklets so that I can like hand them out to people and like sell them.
Yeah.
So, um so that's like
You- I was gonna ask if people can get them and also if you plan on coming out with any like more volumes.
yeah, for sure. Like I'm definitely like there's going to be like another volume of this eventually. I just I want to get like this first volume out in like circulation first because like I wanted to have them available for the party, but like logistically it like was like a lot to coordinate. So it made a little more sense just to like have like the posters like available to like look at there and like you could like read the book there, like or like a preview of it basically. But I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to like have it just like print it out now, like on like booklets. So they'll probably I'll put them up on like my Bandcamp most likely. So that'll be nice.
Word, word.
Yeah.
Um, oh yeah, and then you also came out with merch recently.
Yeah.
Are they still available?
They are still available on my Bandcamp.
Okay.
I have damn, I think I have like 15 shirts left, something like that.
Got you.
And I we made like 50 shirts. Like I my friends
Mm.
like Ben and Adam, they and Arthur, they all like screen print like merchandise and like they have like their own like Ben and Arthur have their own like clothing line called Chalk Press. So I went to their like studio and like we printed it together. Like they made that shirt too I was wearing in the picture. They like will embroider
Oh,
things.
that's cool.
Yeah. So it was nice like to be able to work with them to screen print this merch. And I worked with like Arthur on like the graphics for it. We like came up with like the little wave design. And then like the back with like the diamonds on it.
Thanks.
So that was fun. That was
Yeah,
also like a
that's
fun
fun.
project for me.
And they're still available.
They're
And you
still
plan on dropping any more in the future?
it'll be a different design, but I do want to have more merch in the future. Yeah.
Snap.
Yeah.
Who are you listening to these days?
Oh wow. Let me look in my recents. Damn, I listen to a lot of music all the time. Obviously like PinkPantherss. Liv, I'm excited for her album that's coming up.
Mhm.
Um, she's great. Frankie Knuckles always. Coco Brice, great like drum and bass kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Um, I was listening to Phony People. I like finally got around to like listening to their new album. It's not really new anymore, but I think yeah, or no, maybe it is new. I think they released it in November. Yeah.
All right.
Um,
It's not too old.
it's not too old. Yeah. No, I just finally got around to that. Kush Jones, Swisha, like Acemo, Ace
Oh yeah.
Moma, like I kind of got into them. Like
I'm gonna go hard.
yeah, the juke bounce work crew. Um, very into like the footwork and like
Mhm.
you know that kind of music.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, and like oh, there's this one artist too, Kornel Kovacs. He makes like house electronic music, but he's pretty cool. Like every time I like hear one of his songs, I'm like, oh, this is like different. This is nice. I don't know if he's like a Swedish musician, something. He's just like, he makes cool music. So
Um, do you see yourself like moving outside of Philly, like sometime soon, out to like New York or LA or even like overseas or something like that?
I do. Like I think it's time, honestly. Like I've been wanting to move out of Philly like for like the last however many years.
Yeah,
But it's just been like very hard, just like financially and also like, just to like uproot myself like that because I have like such like this is like how I make my money is like playing shows in Philly.
right.
So, it's kind of like it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to like replicate that elsewhere. It's definitely possible, but it's just like an adjustment to make and like, get acquainted with like another city's scene. So I don't think I would move to New York as much as I like playing shows there and like spending time there. I don't think I can like live that way. I need like a little more of a relaxed lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I think I might end up in California somewhere, whether it's like LA or Oakland or
Gotcha.
San Francisco. Like I kind of like that vibe.
It's a vibe for sure over there.
Yeah. I just need to, I want it to like work for me. Like I don't want to like feel like too isolated, but I also like I want to be around like the right people, I don't want to like I don't want to be around
Yeah.
like people that aren't like, I don't want to be around fake people. And like that's like pretty easy to do in a place like New York or LA, but like I just want to make sure I'm like, I got my people before I like really jump in.
Mm.
But I'll find people wherever I go. So it'll, it'll work out.
Got like two more questions. One, how do you feel like how would you compare summer 2021 to like this past summer? Because I feel like they're two pretty like monumental ones for you and for a lot of people, but for you specifically, but maybe in different ways. Would you want to like talk about that?
Yeah. No, I talk about that a lot with like Vic, like be like I feel like summer 2021 was like very like there was like a freer element to it. It's like, oh my God, like there's like all these like outdoor parties or these
Mhm.
raves, like, like everything is like, we're getting back into life again. Like we don't have to be like so like fearful of like everything and like, there was a there's a lot that happened like through like lockdown and like just like yeah, there was just a lot that happened.
So,
So to like be able to like get together with people again and like just like be free was like really, really nice. And there was like a less pressure, I feel like, to like, I wasn't like, I was just like having fun more. And
mhm.
I had a lot of fun this summer too, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, but it was more structured, I feel like, or like I had more of a grip on my life, I guess.
Facts.
Like the previous summer was just like, oh my God, like there's a lot going on. And I was still working. Oh my God. Yeah, I was like still working that whole summer, like at a restaurant on the weekends, like
Mhm.
serving like before or, like I would like be serving like the brunch shifts usually.
Yeah.
And I would go out and like play raves on like Saturday nights and then come like work again like Sunday morning, like
Oh
doing
my
like Sunday brunch at like this like giant
God.
garden. And it was kind of like tiring. It was a lot. Like
I
I
bet.
I wasn't able to like do it all. And like,
Mhm.
this summer was more like, oh, I can like actually fully support myself on this. Like, and I'm like, I'm with like the booking agency now, and like things are like a little more making a little more sense. And like, I had the Adult Swim Festival to look forward to all
Yeah.
summer. So it was like kind of like everything was just like building up to that.
Like shit.
Yeah, that was like that was cool. Like I had like something to look forward to, and then like everything else in between was nice. Like
Mhm.
it was very good. It was like a better like structure to it and like more like okay, like this is like what I do now. Like it was kind of like before like, like wow, this is crazy. Like I'm really like doing this, but now I'm like okay, like this is like what I do. Like
Facts.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, last question. How do you feel about like the Philly, I would say like rave scene, but also the hip hop scene? Because I feel like you're pretty involved in both of them. How do you feel about it? And then like how do you see yourself like within that? Or where do you see yourself in that?
it's like I feel like, every scene has its like ups and downs and like transitional periods and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like because like summer 2021 was so explosive with like the rave scene, like it's been like, now like this past summer, everybody was like trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
And it kind of got like a little bit repetitive. And then like sometimes it felt like, it's like, oh, like it's not like so special anymore.
little forced type shit.
Yeah, it felt a little more forced sometimes. And like everybody wants to do like the same thing, but like sometimes it's just like not like the same care isn't put into it. Like, sometimes people are like feeling unsafe at events, and it's like we can't have that. No,
Yeah.
like we can't we can't have that. Like that is completely defeating the purpose of this
Yeah, the whole
all.
point.
And
Yeah.
like some like there's just like drama and politics and everything, like
Mhm.
who is like involved in what, like and who shouldn't be there. It's like, you know. So it's been like that's been kind of hard because like people want to like enjoy and like, party the same way, but it's like, I'm getting older, like the people I like DJ with are getting older, and it's
Mhm.
like there's like a lot of younger people that like follow like what we do, and like college students or like people
Yeah.
that like can't go out to clubs yet. So it's like, how do we like I don't know. Like I can't like be responsible for the scene forever and like, you
Like,
know, but I want to make sure that there's like things in place that like people can like, keep doing this and like feel like they can keep doing this and like, you know, like finding like the warehouses, like finding the people, like the right teams to work with, finding like the right security, the right like people to like, make sure events run smoothly. Like, it's a lot to do. It's a
yeah,
lot for
yeah, for sure.
like one person to do. And it's like very hard to do right, like there's a lot of factors into it. So, I just want to make sure that as well. But I have a lot of hope for the scene, like there's a lot of people that are doing cool shit that are like
For sure.
I know are gonna like figure it out, but I just hope that it like can continue, like,
Yeah.
and it will, but it's just like people have to like want it, or like they have to like want to figure it out,
Mhm.
and like those
Mhm.
people will come along. They always do.
Like shit. Yeah, the talent is there for sure.
The
And just
talent is there in the
interest.
rave scene and like the hip hop scene, like the talent is there. Like it's
Yeah.
like it's
Exactly.
very cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what should we expect from you in the future?
More music, more original music, and like yeah, more like I really am like ready to like develop myself as an artist, like beyond like being a DJ. Like
Right.
so like hopefully like I can like there's gonna be a point where I'm doing like full like live sets again of like my own music, but it's like dance music and like
Yeah.
like we're gonna get to that point. But
Mhm.
like I'm excited for that, and, like to actually like feel like I can make music as like myself and like just develop myself in that way. So
For sure.
yeah.
All right. You got any shout outs?
Shout out to all my loved ones, uh, everybody, and just like the scene, because like it's a I can't do this without people coming out to like my shows, and like,
Yeah.
I appreciate all of the support, even like, it's hard for me to like be out all the time and like go to everybody's events, and like I'm a very like much of a homebody, but I love DJing, so
Yeah.
I go out when I can.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful for like the support in the scene and like being able to like play my music, and like I'm grateful that people enjoy the things that I do. Like I enjoy feeling the energy. I enjoy being around it. So it's very cool.
Mhm.
It's very
Facts. Yeah. Shout out those people and shout out Jewelssea.
nice.
Um,
Thank you.
wrap it up. It's Sleepwalker Radio. Jewelssea signing off. See you.